Hello and welcome to another morning update live on NTN. We are back in Parliament building today in downtown Castries. We have a sitting of the Senate today. We'll get into the schedule for that in just a moment. In the meantime, we'd like to welcome you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching on air, online, a special good morning to you. For those of you residents here in St. Lucia, St. Lucians in the diaspora, keeping abreast as to what's happening, we thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jessie Leonce. Today is Thursday, the 17th of December 2020. 'Tis the season. We do hope that while you're going out and about, being merry and making your purchases, we know the commercial hustle and bustle of things right now, you are adhering to the protocols. Just to take a look back at the week that was this past week. Earlier this week, we have the House of Assembly approving the VAT exemption on imports by parliamentarians to benefit their constituencies. And we're going to see this motion also coming to the Senate this morning as well. The Ministry of Health raises the alarm on breaches to home quarantine protocol. We know that the CMO did indicate, based on their risk assessment activities, they determined that about 1,000 individuals, holiday travelers, would be coming back to St. Lucia, and the Ministry of Health would have to be dealing with at least 1,000 home-based quarantine situations. We also have in our updates this morning the National Sports Academy continuing its success story with its first graduation ceremony. Definitely something that you should stay tuned to see how the Sports Academy is continuing to roll out its students and successful graduates. So that story is coming up in just a moment as well. We also have an important update from the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, an urgent public announcement regarding the public assistance program. So stay tuned. We're due for our first break for the morning. When we come back, we get into the details of these stories and important bulletin information.
Wash your hands. Wash them before
eating or handling food or caring for infants, sick or elderly people.
Wash your hands. Wash them after
using the toilet, touching raw meat, handling pets and livestock, playing outdoors, cleaning or handling waste and garbage.
Wash your hands. Wash them often.
You are going right when you make a habit of washing your hands several times a day.
This message brought to you courtesy the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining, a special good morning to you. You notice that we're not in studio this morning, the NTN update. We're bringing the NTN morning update to you live from the Parliament building in downtown Castries today, Thursday, the 17th of December 2020. We do have a sitting of the Senate schedule, and so it will move on seamlessly to those proceedings. This morning we have papers to be laid by the Honorable Minister for Health and Wellness and Leader of the Government Business in the Upper House. We also have the Honorable Minister in the Ministry of Tourism, Information, Broadcasting, Culture and the Creative Industries, responsible for culture and the creative industries, Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose. She will be laying a paper as well as statutory instrument number 205 of 2020. That's the Tourism Stimulus and Investment Order. The motions coming down from the House of Assembly, that be it resolved that Parliament by affirmative resolution approves the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 3 number 2 order, which amends the Schedule 3 of the Act to exempt imports by an elected parliamentarian for the benefit of children, the vulnerable and needy persons in the constituency of the elected parliamentarian, of toys, of food, supplies, care packages, including items for personal use such as food, personal hygiene products, and other personal protective supplies, gift items, including personal presents to be given as part of the Christmas holiday season, Christmas decorations, including Christmas lights, ornaments, and accessories used for decorative purposes during the Christmas season. The second motion being forwarded in the Honourable House today is be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow from commercial banks sums not exceeding $85 million as follows: Royal Bank of Trinidad and Tobago, EC $4,400,000, Royal Bank of Canada, EC $5,600,000, First Caribbean International Bank, EC $8 million, Republic Bank, EC Limited, EC $12 million, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited, EC $5 million, and Bank of St. Lucia, EC $50 million. And just to note that this loan from the commercial banks, and a sum not exceeding $85 million is already budgeted and taken account of based on our estimates of revenue and expenditure. We also have the bill to be laid in the Honourable House, the first reading, the Economic Substance Amendment Bill, and this will be tabled by the Honourable Minister for Health and Wellness and Leader of Government Business in the Upper House. Now, to take a look back at the House of Assembly sitting earlier this week, on Tuesday to be exact, the House of Assembly, by affirmative resolution on Tuesday, approved the draft value-added tax amendment of Schedule 3, Number 2, and as I mentioned earlier, it amends the Schedule 3 of the Act to exempt imports by an elected parliamentarian for the benefit of children, the vulnerable, and needy persons in their constituencies. We're talking toys, food supplies, care packages, including items for personal use to be given as part of the holiday season. It is one of the measures that are being instituted by the government to assist various segments of the population in mitigating the impacts of COVID-19. We go to our first report of the morning.
Minister for Commerce, Industry, Investment, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs and Parliamentary Representative for Shrewsbury Saltibus, Honourable Bradley Felix, threw his support behind the motion. He explained that all parliamentarians are afforded the opportunity to make use of the provision. The Minister for Commerce added that the Cabinet's May 29, 2020 approval of the granting of concessions on barrels imported at Christmas provided an additional avenue for the importation of goods and food items for the underprivileged in the various constituencies.
The Cabinet further approved the transmission of the appropriate legal instrument to Parliament to declare barrels imported during the period June 2nd, 2020 to January 31st, 2021 exempt from value-added tax. Mr. Speaker, the only difference in this is one, parliamentarians were identified, and we added the lighting.
Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Minister for Finance and Parliamentary Representative for Miko South, Honourable Alan Chasney, highlighted the impact of the barrel concessions approved by Cabinet in an effort to provide relief to the poor and vulnerable people in St. Lucia.
In 2019, Mr. Speaker, the total number of barrels that came in between November 15th and January 31st was 16,482. And there was a CIF value of 11.83 million, and there was approximately $4.2 million in foregone tax revenues and $709,000 in foregone service charge collected. Thus far, Mr. Speaker, from June 1st, because you remember that we went, because of the extraordinary situation, to allow barrels to come in from even earlier. And as was mentioned, that we increased the allocation from 2, which would be the norm, to 3 per household. And we did it on a timely basis. So thus far, Mr. Speaker, as we speak as of December 1st, there was 26,000 barrels that have been imported, a CIF value of 18.6 million, approximately $6.6 million in foregone duties, and $1.1 million in foregone service charge collected. So, Mr. Speaker, government has foregone close to $8 million in tax revenue to help, in many cases, the vulnerable.
Parliamentary Representative for Grosile and Minister for Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment, Honourable Leonard Montoute, explained that the government, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, has been making strides towards alleviating the burden on the poor and vulnerable. He noted that the government has increased the grants for and expanded several vulnerable groups. The minister informed that the Child Disability Grant, the allocation for the Child Foster Care Program, and the funds to beneficiaries under the Social Assistance Program Living with HIV are a few of the groups who received increased support during the COVID-19 pandemic. He noted that the Public Assistance Program has also been expanded.
Mr. Speaker, that program since COVID-19 has grown from a total of 2,600 households to 3,600 households, an increase of 1,000 households. An increase of 1,000 households. Mr. Speaker, we had extension officers of my ministry engaged in field work, okay, going around for the rectification of the PAP program, that is Public Assistance Program, ensuring that we, in our expansion, got to the people who were most in need.
The motion was passed in the lower house on Tuesday, 15th December 2020. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
Thank you, Janelle, for that story, that quick update there from the parliamentary sitting on Tuesday in the House of Assembly. And just to remind you, we are back in Parliament for a sitting of the Senate to go over this very same motion as well as other matters in the upper house. The COVID-19 home quarantine monitoring team of the Department of Health and Wellness has not been able to contact a number of individuals who arrived into St. Lucia during the period Saturday, December 5th to Tuesday, December 15th. 2020, and they are supposed to be on home quarantine. Every individual on home quarantine is monitored by a health officer through telephone calls, and therefore it is imperative that persons are truthful in providing the accurate contact details. While arrivals present a negative PCR test, failure to provide accurate information results in persons not being contacted and monitored for COVID-19 signs and symptoms will have a negative effect on our overall effort. The ministry is urging for persons to contact the assigned health officer of their district within 24 hours if they have not yet already done so. A failure to comply within the stipulated time will result in the publication of the person's names and information this information in the next 24 hours to facilitate their efficient review. The Ministry of Home Affairs is working together with the Ministry of Health and has already been alerted on this present situation and will provide the necessary support. A list of the contact information of health officers in the various health region is as follows. And I just want to read out to you this list. It's very important at this point in time. We have from Region 1, that's Groselet, the health officers are Chantal, Alexander, Jason, Arthur, and Peterlin Polidor, and you can contact them at 518-1919 or 723-4391 or 722-6581. If you are from Region 2, that is the Babonneau-Foisson area, you can call the number 723-4286, and the health officer there is Veronica Deborah Bledman. In Region 3, the Dennery area, you can contact the number 723-4286, and you could speak to Darwin Clement. He is the health officer there. The health officer for Region 3, that's also the Dennery area, Esther Nestor, and the number to call is 722-6435. The number for the Micoud-Deriso area, that's Region 4, is 723-4475, and you can speak to Rosemary Compton. She's the health officer there. Health officer Alice David is the officer for the Region 4 district, Region 4 area, that's Micoud-Deriso area as well, 723-4314. Serta Woodhouse, you can contact her. She is the health officer for Vieux-Fort, Labrie and Environs, 519-1952. The number to call for Vieux-Fort, Labrie and Environs as well, that's also Region 5, is 723-4312. You could speak to Lancia Edwin on that line. Curlin George, she is the health officer for Region 6, that's Soufrière and Environs, and you can contact her via 723-4406. Also for Soufrière is Patricia Sansqua. She is the health officer there also. You can contact her at 723-4394. Sharon Pindar is the health officer for Ancillary and Environs. You can contact her on 723-4393. Sophia Margaret Regis, health officer for Region 8, Castries and Environs, 723-4459. And Merlicia Wilson for Region 8, Castries and Environs, 518-7886. So you can call these numbers based on your region, or even call if you have you only got one number that I just read in the live call. If you are coming into the country, you came into the country between the 5th and the 15th of December 2020, the effort of the Ministry of Health and Wellness is to ensure that they can continue to monitor, to surveil the individuals who are in country, coming into this country for that period of time. Please be reminded that you are restricted to home-based quarantine until further notice for the stipulated period that they have indicated. So please take note of that information. We continue this morning with word on the COVID-19 situation. The island's chief medical officer, Dr. Sharon Bilmar-George, is urging the public to step up their vigilance ahead of the Christmas season, noting that the festive season is traditionally a time for shopping. She has indicated that parties and overall merriment, Dr. Sharon Bilmar-George says the island is at a heightened risk for the spread of the virus. Over the last 4 weeks, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has guided the nation through a second wave of the novel coronavirus, resulting in decreasing cases. As of Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, St. Lucia had 31 active cases and 4 total COVID-19 related deaths. There were 243 recoveries with no critical cases in care. A total of 17,801 tests have been processed. We now go to a clip from the CMO, Dr. Sharon Bilmar-George, with this update.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to monitor both the global and regional situational analysis as we assess our risks and make recommendations. We note the steady rate of increasing cases in most countries as they experience their second wave. We continue to monitor closely and we learn from the best practices implemented as we strengthen the existing protocols. As countries open their borders and social and economic activity increases, the risk for transmission also increases. St. Lucia, just like the rest of the world, remains at high risk for the introduction of COVID-19. Our main risks include the increased numbers of returning nationals and visitors from areas of high incidence of disease, the illegal entry through the borders, the non-adherence to protocols, the breaches to home quarantine, and the hosting of mass crowd social events. Every visitor, returning national, and illegal entrant must be managed as a possible positive COVID-19 case. It is imperative that we remain vigilant at this time to keep ourselves and our families safe. As we celebrate the Christmas season, let us all remain on alert and continue to play our part to protect the health and safety of our family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors. We ask all to minimize their movements, avoid social gatherings, and other activities which will bring about greater exposure to the virus.
That was Dr. Sharon Bilmar-George. The CMO commended communities, the business sector, and faith-based organization, also the hospitality industry and other partners who continue to support the national effort in the management of COVID-19. I just want to read to you the latest update we have regarding COVID-19. There's been recent testing and it has come back negative. We've had no new cases in the last 24 hours. Coming in yesterday, Wednesday, the 16th of December, St. Lucia receives 175 negative COVID-19 test results. Wednesday, the ministry recorded a batch of 175 negative COVID-19 tests. No positive cases of COVID-19 were received today, and that was yesterday, Wednesday, the 16th of December. This brings the total number of tests conducted in country to date to 17,986. A total of 3 recoveries were also recorded, reducing the number of active cases to 29. Definitely seeing an improvement in our figures so far. Negative cases being registered with our latest batch, and also no new cases, but on the upside we have some 29 active cases, and that number, a total of 3 recoveries, bringing our number of active cases here in St. Lucia to 29. We are due for a break, but before we go, a very important update coming from the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment. The ministry wishes to notify all clients of the Public Assistance Program, PAP, of Castries, Babonneau and Gros Islet and the Soucy Millet regions that payment for the month of December 2020 will commence from Monday 21st December to Wednesday 23rd December 2020 at the Castries City Hall from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. For further information, you can contact the ministry at telephone number 468-5108. So please take note of that update. If you missed any bit of it, I will be reading it out later on during the broadcast. You are watching the morning update live on NTN. We're coming to you from downtown Castries in the Parliament building. Stay with us.
It's coming, the season is here, and we'll be celebrating, 'cause we are here. This is the season for joy and giving, but we'll be protecting the life we're living. Christmas with a difference, practice social distance, celebrate at home, connect via phone. The virus loves a party, it spreads in a hurry. To stop it we should mask up, sanitize and wash up. Precious is the gift of life, so please protect yourself, and don't forget that what you do can save somebody else. Precious is the gift of life, so please protect yourself, and don't forget that what you do can save another human too. If you hang out outside the bar, talking and drinking, this can cause more people to succumb to the infection. If you hang out outside the bar, talking and drinking, this can cause more people to succumb to the infection. Christmas with a difference, practice social distance, celebrate at home, connect via phone. The virus loves a party, it spreads in a hurry. To stop it we should mask up, sanitize and wash up.
Those were the melodic sounds coming from Naomi Grandison. She is the family life educator at the Bureau of Health Education within the Ministry of Health and Wellness there. Just a musical showcase just to bring sensitization to the general public on the importance of adhering to the COVID-19 protocols within the festive season. We continue with the NTN Morning Update with news from the National Sports Academy. The St. Lucia National Sports Academy has continued its journey of success with the hosting of its first graduation exercise. Here's Nehuma Demak with a report.
Graduation often signals the start of a new journey. Such was the case for 15 students of the St. Lucia Sports Academy. The institution held its first graduation ceremony on Friday, 11th December 2020, since its transition from the Grosley Secondary School in September 2019. The principal of the St. Lucia Sports Academy, Delia Alcindor-Charles, addressed the graduates and highlighted the significance of the prestigious occasion.
Graduation, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most important days in our school calendar. And you students know that it marks the conclusion of your secondary school journey that has nurtured you over the last 5 years. This is our inaugural graduation as the St. Lucia Sports Academy. You are the first cohort of students to graduate from this new and prestigious institution. And from what we have seen, you will make great strides and reach your goals.
Also present at the graduation ceremony was Chief Education Officer Dr. Fiona Philip Meyer. She encouraged the students to excel in their future endeavors.
Students, I congratulate you. And I ask you not to limit yourselves, no matter what you do. You can be the best bus driver ever. You can be the best small business person ever. You can be the best technician. You can be the best professional. Whatever it is, do not limit yourselves.
The guest speaker for the event was Hilary Shalmine. During his inspiring presentation, he encouraged graduates to be prepared to make sacrifices to attain success.
In the face of seemingly insurmountable circumstances, pioneers are not easily deterred, dismissed, or derailed. On the contrary, they will remain resolute with the perseverance, determination, and the tenacity to run the race to the end and to accomplish the task that has been assigned.
Awards were presented to students who performed exceptionally well during their 5-year tenure. Amelia Luke captured several awards, including Best Academic Student, the Principal's Award, Student of the Year, and several other subject awards. Debbie Augustine was presented with the Best Overall Female Sports Award, and the Best Overall Male Sports Award was captured by Dorian Augustine. From the Government Information Service, Hermadi Mark reporting.
And that report there from Herma de Mac. Thank you very much for that report on the first cohort graduating from the St. Lucia National Sports Academy. Congratulations to all of you. We continue with our update this morning. Individuals and businesses and households are being encouraged to access financing at concessionary rates to undertake projects designed to combat climate change. The Climate Adaptation Finance Facility is available at the St. Lucia Development Bank. We have Roger Vara Lawrence with more.
Given the country's high vulnerability to climate change, the government of St. Lucia has embarked on creating the Climate Adaptation Finance Facility CAF, a US $5 million line of credit under the St. Lucia Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project. Stemming from recommendations provided during private sector and civil society consultations under the pilot program for climate resilience, the CAF will offer concessional climate change adaptation loans through the St. Lucia Development Bank to individual households and businesses.
From the homeowner's perspective, persons can look to see how they can strengthen their retaining walls, they can strengthen their roofs, persons can put in shutters, persons can look to harvest their rainwater to make them more self-sustainable. Persons can put on photovoltaic systems to produce their own electricity for energy efficiency. We've also seen it for businesses and the full spectrum of businesses, from the farmer to the contractor to the big business. We have facilities that will allow persons to, again, make their business more resilient.
The greater frequency and intensity of extreme weather and chronic climate impacts impose real costs on communities and companies. Extreme weather causes property damage, disrupts business operations, and affects global supply chains across the economy. Sectors more closely tied to natural resources, such as agriculture or tourism, are particularly vulnerable to changing climate conditions. The St. Lucia Development Bank Climate Adaptation Finance Facility will be offered at interest rates between 4 and 7% per annum.
A lot of persons, first of all, they started to take on solar water heaters. Then with the drought, we saw them taking on rainwater tanks and creating their own storage. For the farmers, they came and they were asking for the bigger tanks, 15,000-gallon tanks, which is things that they need because we saw how the drought impacted everyone severely, particularly our food security.
This special financing arrangement can also be used to fund drought and disease-resistant crops, soil stabilization, greenhouses, retrofitting of roofs and buildings, and the installation of photovoltaic systems, which convert sunlight into electricity to power homes and businesses. On November 20th, the Department of Economic Development, in collaboration with the St. Lucia Development Bank, went one step further and launched the Climate Adaptation Financing Facility Business Recovery Program.
The St. Lucia Development Bank, through its partnership with the DVRP, was able to have the World Bank and its partners, the Climate Investment Fund, repurpose the Climate Adaptation Financing Facility. And not that it's going to move away strictly from its core mandate, which was looking at making St. Lucians, their households, their businesses more resilient to the climate, but it now takes into consideration the impact of COVID. So they're allowing us to be able to build a level of resiliency for persons who were impacted by COVID. The intention is for persons to submit a business plan to us with their financial statements showing how they were impacted.
The St. Lucia Development Bank will be on lending the CAF BRP loans at a starting interest rate of 3.75% with the minimum loan amount of $20,000, while the maximum loan is capped at $200,000. Grants up to 15% of the loan will also be offered to micro, small, and medium enterprises.
We do thank the World Bank and the Climate Investment Fund for facilitating this sort of transition, but also for our partners at the Economic Development units at the ministry, from the minister down to Mr. Tommy Descartes, who was very instrumental in getting us to this position of being able to facilitate and assist St. Lucians in their recovery to the COVID.
The CAF BRP grant and loans will be provided for projects that support business continuity and recovery from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and/or for climate resilience with a grace period of 6 months. From the Government Information Service, Rojvaro Lawrence reporting.
Thank you, Roger, for that report. And finally, the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, Natural Resources and Cooperatives has officially opened a diagnostic facility in Union. Anicia Antoine from the ministry has the details.
As the demand for agriculture continues to expand through the growing needs of society, so does the constant threat of the introduction, establishment and spread of pests and diseases, as well as climate change and predial larceny. The newly established National Agricultural Diagnostic Facility will enable production challenges to be approached scientifically through the diagnostic expertise of the laboratory system, thereby strengthening value chains that provide improved access to more affordable, better quality goods. Director of Agricultural Services, Dr. Aurea King-Snack, says the establishment of the diagnostic facility will play a vital role in the industrial and socio-economic development of St. Lucia.
I want us to take full advantage of NADAF to efficiently and timely diagnose diseases that can impact on our socioeconomic well-being. Just remember, the ability to control, contain, and eradicate a disease with little economic impact is by early detection, warning, and action. Perfecting weights and measures and calibration of equipment by the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards continue to play a vital role in the industrial and economic development of St. Lucia, as these services ensure guaranteed accuracy and reliability of measuring instruments. The inclusion of the metrology lab at this premises would serve to enhance our clients' confidence in the processes as periodic calibration of equipment against national standards would be performed.
Director of the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, Vernie Manuel, informs the Metrology Lab has been awarded accreditation to ISO IEC 17025-2017 General Requirements for the Competence and Calibration Laboratories, effective November 2nd, 2020.
ISO 1705 specifies the general requirements for the competence to carry out our tests and calibrations, including sampling. It covers testing and calibration performed using standard methods, non-standard methods, and laboratory-developed methods. Accreditation means that the SLBS laboratory has been assessed for technical competence in calibration services, and the calibration results produced meet all specifications for technically sound findings.
The Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Physical Planning, Natural Resources and Cooperatives, Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, is enthusiastic about the operationalization of the facility and its benefits.
Food safety is critical. Food safety is something I've been speaking a lot about. And I'm sure with the operation of this facility, we shall be able to produce the type of products that our consumers would have confidence in. And of course, we can see the continued consumption of our locally grown products.
The National Agricultural Diagnostic Facility is funded by the European Union under the ATP BAM program. From the Communications Unit of the Department of Agriculture, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
Thank you, Anicia, for that report. As we round off, just want to remind you of an important bulletin coming from the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Local Government and Empowerment on the Public Assistance Program. The Ministry wishes to notify all clients of the Public Assistance Program, PAP, of the Castries, Babonneau, Grosley and Sucy Millet regions that payment for the month of December 2020 will commence from Monday 21st December to Wednesday 23rd December 2020 at the Castries City Hall from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. So please take note of that. The clients of the Public Assistance Program in the Castries, Babonneau, Grosley and Sucy Millet regions. Well, that rounds off our important updates coming to you from the government of St. Lucia for this morning. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. My name is Jessie Leon signing off for now. We'd like to remind you that we are coming to you from the Parliament building where the sitting of the Senate should commence shortly. We already do see quite a few senators already present and prepared for today's proceedings. I believe we have the leader of government business, Senator the Honorable Mary Isaac. Also, we have Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, a Senator Mauricio Thomas Francis, and also a Senator the Honorable Dr. Adrian Auger. From the opposition, we have Senator the Honorable Lisa Jal here as well present. So things are gearing up in the Honorable House. If you are looking to tune in, do stand by for the commencement of today's sitting of the Upper House from Parliament building. I'm signing off and taking you back to studio.